Hi, I was working on another little project here, going back to the cider press idea, and everybody saw the one that I did using the caulking gun as the trigger to make it press. Made a couple of little changes on this one to see if it works any better. What I've done here is I've used a threaded pipe and going down through, so it'll actually turn, and I'll be able to use a wrench as my crank or my handle, or I will also be able to put a cordless drill on top of it, crank it down, back it off, whatever. But here is the second apple cider press that I'm doing, and also not only does this one crank down, which should give me a little bit more pressure, but I changed the plunger design, and what I've used is a sink strainer. All I did was took the center out of the sink strainer. It fit in there perfect, no alterations needed, but that will also let all the juices flow straight through that. And again, I still just put my can underneath it and crank it down. It goes down a lot slower than the caulking gun version does, but at the same time, like I said, I'll be able to hook this one up to a cordless drill or use a crank, and if I use a crank, I'll be able to just spin it down and spin it back up. Try to find a can that fits the size just a little bit better. I'm thinking maybe going with PVC pipe also, and just pressing down into that so it fits a little bit more snug. I don't want it to be really tight, but I'd like to have a little bit less of a gap than that. But this is where I'm at right now with this one. I've got the sink strainer here as my plunger. I've got some 3/8 inch all thread as my auger delivery system, and then it's held underneath with a bolt or a nut and a couple washers. At the top I've got a plate with a nut, and then I've got a stop nut up here. That way I can crank against it and keep it tight. But that's the second one that I've got. I've got one more idea I'm going to try, but we'll see how this one works maybe a little later on.